Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to a new NeoForge episode. In today's episode, I'll be showing you how to creating tools. So I'll just show you how to create a sword and a pickaxe. So first of all, what you want to do is head over to your item init for class, and then you want to do public static, and then you do final deferred item, and in here we're going to do equals items let me just call it, we're gonna call it sword equals items dot register, and in here we're just gonna call it sword, and then we're gonna open it Salam in here, and we're going to do new sword item, and in here we're going to have the tier, and we're going to have we're gonna have two floats and the item property. So the item tier, now we're just gonna leave this out for now. We could just do this. So no, obviously if we run it, it'll crash the game. So we're gonna have here 8 and minus 2.6 float, and in here we're going to have items dot properties, and we're just gonna do stack to 1. All right. So now we want to create our custom tool materials. So we're gonna head over here, and we're gonna, in the cofold package, we're gonna get rid of int, and we're gonna do material. And in material, we're just gonna call this custom tool material, and it's going to be an enum tool material. So not record, sorry, enum class. So, and we can get rid of this here. And in here we're going to have other semicolon. We're going to need the following things. We're going to have private final, and in here we're going to need the harvest. We're going to need the int harvest level. We're going to need the max usage, how much max before it breaks. We need private final. In here we're going to need int enchantability, and we're going to need the repair material, which we'll use to fix our items. The private final supplier, and in here we're going to do ingredient repair material, and then we're just going to create constructor. And in here we want to also extend tier, not extend, that mean implement, sorry. And in here we're going to need to implement the following methods. So first of all, for get usage, that'll just be max usage. For the speed, which is basically the 4 plus this value. So for if the speed is first, so the reason we set it to 0 is because the main speed is set in the item init class. So here, it's one of these floats here which we set as the main speed. So we can just leave this as 0. The attack damage is set to 0 as the main attack damage is set in the item class. So this is basically the attack damage and the speed basically. So our speed is plus 4 minus 2.64 float, and then for the harvest level, obviously we can just do harvest level, and then for the enchantment value we can just do enchantment value and enchantability, and here we can get our repair ingredient or get. Alright, so now let's create our thing. So we're just gonna do a sword, and so we're gonna call this sword our enum, and then we're gonna have so the first one is a harvest level, there's just a 3, and the next one is going to be amount of max usage. Let's give it 2000, and the efficiency 10, and then our supplier, we're just gonna say in here we're going to basically say in here we're going to return ingredient dot of, and in here we're gonna have our item init dot example example the item dot get. 1 second. Yep. Oh, we missed we don't need these. Let's get rid of these. Yep, that should fix it. Now we're gonna do the same for pickaxe, and we're gonna 3 pickaxe usually. Sophie, the sword could be 2000. For the pickaxe, it'll be a bit low. It'll be a bit for the max usage, it'll be a bit more because the pickaxe need to be more efficient. but we can just leave everything as is. And now if you head over back to here, we can just do a custom tool material dot sword. Yep, and then we can now do the same thing for our pickaxe. So public static final deferred item pickaxe new pickaxe item, and in here just takes the same thing as a sword. So usually our pickaxe is not as strong, so we'll just reduce this to a value like 5, but we can keep the speed if we want to. Alright, so now we've done that. We now just want to add the textures for our sword and the name, so we can just head over here to our register, and what we want to do is we're not going to use the same ones we use for items, because the way the sword is rendered is a bit different. So what you want to do is just create, we're just going to say here, we're just going to say tools, and here we're going to do tool, and in here we're just going to do item sword and item pickaxe. And for our tool method, what we're going to have is the following. So private void tools, and we're just going to say handheld and layer 0 that name. Alright, so now let's give the tool a names. So let's just say tools. So we're going to say add item sword and item pickaxe. Add item add item and add item. And now we want to create a recipe of how to make these swords. So we can just say normal crafting recipe, and in here we're just going to say shaped recipe builder. In here we're going to say shaped, and then we're going to say recipe category tools, and this is going to be our sword. So basically, we're going to have an example item on the row. So basically, to one stake, like you create a diamond sword, but with the raw example, and we can just close this off. And now we're going to do for our pickaxe, and this is going to be how you create a normal pickaxe. So it'll be just, so you have your starts off by, so basically you'll have your 2 ores and your 3 sticks. So like how you actually, one sec, and if we just change this, so the pattern should be just change this to, let's change this to swap this around. So this will be oh no, one second, we've done something wrong. So we don't want raw example, so this will just be example item. And so S. So when I change this to X, I'm going to change the top one to S, and this is going to be a stick. So a stick, so you can do items dot, and then you're going to do stick, and you can close that off. So that's how we're going to create our recipe, and we just want to do the same one for here. So X will be our example item, and S will just be a stick. Alright, so that should be fine. So 1 2 stick, 1 2 stick. Oh, that's fine. Alright, so one second, we can just change this to, just to make it a bit more clarity, X S. This will be S, this will be S, this will be X. Alright, so now we've done that, we can now run our data generation, and then that will generate the JSON file. So if you're wondering what textures I'm using, I've made Minecraft mods in the past, so I'm just using some textures from those. So you have the pickaxe, and you have the sword. So the sword, it was made to have a ruby and here, but now we're just going off with a basic style of textures. So I'll meet you back once my data has generated, and I'll see you in the game. JSON's loaded, generated, everything should be fine, no issues. If there's any, post in the comment section below. And in here we're gonna craft our things. So 2 sticks and 3 thing. That gives us our pickaxe, and now we can just do the same for the sword. 1 second. Obviously, so we got sword. Now you can change the recipe to have it where instead of 2 sticks you can have 2 ores, which would be a bit more logical. So we can just head over that and change it now, and then you can just regenerate your JSON. You can also introduce more ores if you have like ruby, and put it in here to make the sword more accurate in the crafting table recipe. Well, that's pretty much it for today's episode. Hope you have a great time. See you next week, or in this week. Peace out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.